This is my standard electric model B5111A from the 1960s from Argentina for Intel. As you recall, I made a video of the Standard Electric B111A from Standard Electric. I bought this phone from the same seller last year, shortly after I purchased the other one. So this phone was from the same seller as the other telephone, and he brought it over from Argentina as well. This one is actually, or was his sister's, and it's basically the updated version of the B111A. The only difference being the outer housing in the handset. The inside components of the base are exactly the same as the Standard Electric B111A and the original BTMC 2724. This particular design is unique for this type of model telephone. I guess you would say for the type of base and components it has, as Argentina was the only country that made this particular housing for this type of base. So that's what makes it kind of unique in a way. I had been wanting one of these for a really long time, since I discovered them on Mercado Libre, which is sort of like the eBay of South America, but the concept is not bidding. It's a very different concept than eBay, and even getting one in this type of in particular condition was a plus as well. So the housing here is actually like a hard ABS type plastic. It's not Bakelite anymore. The dial is the same type of Standard Electric or BTMC type dial. Only new update was the bezel. It's a thin metal bezel where the numbers here are the exposed metal. And I don't know if they stenciled it or something. I don't know how you would describe it, but this is paint, but the numbers are the bare metal. You can't really feel it because I feel like they put like a protective layer to keep the paint from scratching off. These phones are notorious for the paint scratching off, especially where your finger would run along from dialing the phone. And so if you were to see pictures of this either on Mercado Libre or any Google search, you'll see a lot of them where the paint was actually faded so bad that it turned a very, very light brown color and you could barely see the numbers anymore, or that this is so scratched off. And once that's scratched off, you can't restore it to the same condition as it was directly out of the factory. So that's one thing that's hard to, I would assume, trying to restore. And luckily this one is in good shape that I don't have to worry about that, so I try to keep it as in good shape and had to be really careful cleaning it as well, so in case any of that came off, but thank goodness nothing did. So the profile of this type of telephone is like a really fat, kind of a chunky type phone. I will put a picture on the end of this video next to a Model 500 to compare it. It's taller and it's like fat, and I thought that was kind of interesting, very different look. But here's kind of look at the angle here, and as you can see, it's got a new type of handset as well instead of the Belgian type handset from B27 or the 2724 from BTMC. It's got kind of like a, it's not a G handset, but it's a G style handset because they don't specify what model handset that is. And it's stamped with Intel on the inside, and it's Bakelite. And they also have Intel stamped right near the cradle. And we got the number card here, Intel Argentina. Some of you may think, since this is the housing is updated and it has an old type of original base component and base, you would think it's kind of like the same way they made the Western Electric 5302, trying to get rid of some of the old type of parts, so they can, I guess you would say, liquidate, but using updated housings and all that, so they can get rid of their stock to, I guess, produce more modern telephones. But I do not know the case as far as this standard electric B5111A. I have absolutely no knowledge of how their telephones came about. I couldn't find any history on them, but that's what I'm thinking. But it's hard to tell. So I showed you on the sides. There's no damage on the plastics or bakelite, which is good. Now, original coil cord, it's got a little bit of a tweak there. I'm not going to do that. Try to fix that because I would have to reshape the whole cord. It's perfectly fine the way it is. Here is the plug. It's got a single prong plug, but it's divided into two sections. So if I were to put alligator clips to test this phone, one clip would go on this end and the other clip will go on this section, because you see right here, that's where it divides. And they have Intel stamped on these parts as well. And then we have the bottom, where Intel is also stamped. There's that. The earlier bases were painted black. This one is a bare metal. I think this one is from either 1966 or 1968. There is a stamp on the inside, but I can't really make it out because it's mostly worn off, so it's hard to tell. But that's basically it for this video. What I'm going to do is, since I don't have the phone plugged in and I'm not going to go through the trouble, I'm going to end this video and have a separate video coming right after of the dial testing and the ring back, and then pictures of the inside will follow. So I hope you enjoyed this video of this 1960s standard electric model B5111A from the country of Argentina for Intel. So I hope you enjoyed this. The ringing and the dial test will be coming now, and following that will be the photos of the inside. So I hope you enjoyed this, and thanks for watching. And welcome back, everybody. This is the dial out and ring back test of this phone. So I'm going to turn the camera a little bit, and I'm also going to turn my telephone analyzer so you can see both. Unfortunately, I could not get this phone to dial out on a regular line. It's misdialing, or I don't know what it is, but it's common with this type of telephone. The B111A also did the same thing, but the numbers register correctly on the telephone analyzer. So what I'm going to do is pick up the handset, and there should be some dial tone. I don't know if it will pick it up, but I assure you there is dial tone from the analyzer. Now I'm just going to dial a few numbers for you to show that they are registering. So we got a 4, we got a 6, and we got a 1, a 0, and let's in at 7. Okay, there's that. So now I'm going to show you all what the ringer sounds like. Now the bells on this phone are basically the same pitch, one being slightly flatter than the other, you may notice. So there aren't two different pitches, but there's one pitch but one slightly flatter. You'll understand what I'm talking about when I press the button. So here we go. Alright, I'll pick up on this one. Alright, that pretty much wraps up that ring back and dial test on this video. So I hope you enjoyed this. Pictures will now follow. Thanks for watching.